Are you ready, Alex, for questions?
Yeah, do you want to do them here? Do you want to do them here, or do you want to go somewhere else and do your questions? Do you want to go like outside and do your questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Okay, let's go there. Let's go choose somewhere outside and do your questions.
What was I thinking?
When did you start thinking like maybe he could have dyslexia?
Probably when he was 3, because he was the last child at all times to walk to his desk, because they would have to go and find their spot based on locating their name. He was pretty clever to figure out that if he just kind of hung back and found the one spot that was empty, that had to be his. So that kind of worried us, because at 3, whereas not all kids can identify their name, he had been in school that was his 3rd year in school, especially by K4, he should have been able to write and identify his name very quickly.
Have you ever found it like hard to read?
Well, like, there's these big words I found hard, but like not too big. Like together is easy, but that's like
Yeah, what about your spelling tests?
I got them right. Like once in a while.
Once in a while. What about writing? Do you like writing, Chatham?
Yeah,
You do?
because it's like something you can just.
Is it hard for you to write ever, or is it pretty easy?
No, pretty easy.
Pretty easy?
Because it's just like you write in your imagination. So like on your spare time you can write whatever you want to say.
What kind of stories do you like to write? I remember when we wrote a story together, Chatham.
Yeah,
What was it
I
about?
like to write stories about dinosaurs, and sometimes I like to write about like equations, like some like explosion stuff, and I mostly like writing about animals.
Who teaches you the most? Like outside of school? Who helps you with homework and who tells you about things and who reads with you?
Mom,
Mom? Do you like reading with Mom?
yeah, she's pretty easy, understandable too.
Does she read to you or do you read?
I read with her.
Garden.
Well, K4 and so preschool and kindergarten, he was able to pick up on very difficult concepts, very creative, very verbal, had a good vocabulary, could comprehend if people read to him. But when it came to the simple task of saying, this is an A, this is the number 3, this is the letter W, that's what he struggled with, which is really a pretty basic skill to identify a letter or a number. He still has trouble recalling what a letter will look like. Even he's 8 now, so when he goes to write things, he'll say to me, what does the W look like again? Or what does a D look like? He really struggles with D's, B's, P's, Q, which is the basic letter that kids with dyslexia will struggle with, because you have to remember which way the letter should face with the circle and the stick.
And then he doesn't only have dyslexia but dysgraphia.
He does have
So
dysgraphia.
that means like he writes stuff,
He's very messy, but can write an incredible story. I do have the story of him writing about a dinosaur, and the interesting thing was that he really butchered words like the and what and your common sight words he couldn't spell, but yet dinosaur, you really could decipher which dinosaurs he was trying to describe, even those words are really hard to spell, but yet his little creative mind was able to put letters together to make it make sense.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of identified this, how do we approach teaching him in a different way, but still teaching him at the same level that he needs to be taught? Does that make sense?
One thing that I've worked on more with him is learning to read auditorily. So he can listen to books on very high level and he can comprehend without a problem if you orally ask him questions. The struggle is that in classrooms, most of the time, we are asking kids to always read with their eyes and always write to answer questions or to be tested. But yet, you need to assess someone with dyslexia in a completely different manner.
So insensitive to
one of the things that I've kind of taken from that book, the dyslexia, is called the Dyslexia Empowerment Plan, and it's written by Ben Foss, is that Are you going to ask a child who's in a wheelchair at the bottom of the steps, we're going to wait here until you get all the way to the top,
Mhm.
when they're never going to get there that way?